Good evening and welcome to the NDTV Dialogues, a conversation of ideas on issues that really matter in India today. Tonight we look at the idea of justice, the judiciary an integral pillar of Indian democracy, but also increasingly in focus with landmark judgments. Joining me tonight, a panel of our finest judicial and legal minds, retired Justice Ravindran, retired Justice A.P. Shah, also Mr. Soli Sorabji and Prashant Bhushan. Thank you all very much for coming in tonight. Justice Ravindran, the focus really has been very much on the judiciary and the executive interface, given two recent judgments. One, of course, on disqualifying convicted politicians from office, and also regarding RTI and parties has come up through the CIC as well. These are issues, again, which are being looked at as judicial issues, issues where other pillars of democracy are standing up where the executive isn't. Do you think that's a correct interpretation?
Well, it is. But the idea of justice is very broad and it varies from person to person. Perceptions also vary. In fact, the good old Aristotelian definition is giving every person is due, whether it may be a penalty, it may be a punishment, or it may be his entitlement. But we are not talking about global justice, or we are not talking about social justice here. We are talking about justice with reference to judges and judiciary. Now the problem is people have a perception that justice means it is truth, it is fairness, it is equality, it is all good things. But they forget that justice, what we render in courts, is not justice according to morality, but justice according to law. Therefore, many a time we may be doing justice which people may not perceive as justice, and vice versa. In these cases which you refer, the perception can be different. The same matter can come before one judge and he may take one view and another judge may take another view.
Justice Shah, when we talk about consensus and looking at justice from the judicial perspective, looking at it from the other perspective, the political perspective, or some of the arguments that you've heard in recent years of judicial overreach, the fact that judges aren't elected, who are they accountable to? At least the politician is. The force of public opinion increasingly, however, seems to lie with the judiciary. Do you think that's a dangerous trend going forward?
Let me put it this way. Now, there is a criticism of the judiciary saying that this is overreach or this is judicial activism. So, according to one opinion, this is not an aberration, it's a normal judicial function. But according to some, this is a usurpation of power by the judicial branch. Now, if we look at the different trends in the judiciary, so prior to emergency, and I will say prior to Maneka Gandhi's case, by and large the judiciary was considered to be orthodox. It stood for the property owners, and post-emergency period, the Supreme Court, stood up for it became an institution trying to promote the idea of, social justice, which is the foundation of our constitution. Now, just see how the things moved. Initially, this PIL was all started with those underprivileged people about concerning their issues like child labor or prisoners or women under trials, and then those were the issues about which the court was giving rulings. This is slowly expanded. We went into the larger issues. The court went into larger issues like rule of law, then the judicial appointments, environmental issues, and then I feel that lately, the judiciary is entering into the arenas which are, I'm not talking about these two judgments, I have some objection to some judgments. For instance, I will give examples like for instance, river linkage judgment. The Supreme Court mandated that there should be linking of a river. According to many experts, it's a bad idea. It's not feasible. But the Supreme Court ruled that it should be done, and not obeying the Supreme Court order would amount to contempt of court. And nothing happened thereafter. But according to me, even the RTI judgment, where they said that only judges can be chief information commissioner or information commissions. These are the cases of judicial adventurism. But I feel that there are areas like the one which is about the criminalization of politics. I mean, the classic case is this Lily Thomas, where the Supreme Court said that a convicted person would become automatically disqualified. I mean, one may say that the two-judge bench should not have decided it. It could have been referred to a larger bench. But I think the logic and behind this judgment and the undercurrent of the judgment is absolutely correct. I mean, the people would largely support, and they supported the judgment. So I feel that there is a tremendous pressure from the people, and today I think the judiciary is regarded as the only protector of the democracy. I mean, that's a citizens. You ask any common man, that he will have the highest faith in the judiciary.